Counting is much more complex than it first appears to be. What do children need to know before they're able to count? Well, some of the skills and knowledge they need to know are the names of the numbers, the order of the number names, and have the concept of conservation of numbers, know how to make a one-to-one correspondence, and be organized in order to keep track of which items have been counted. So the concept of conservation of number was described by Jean Piaget. In his classic experiment, a child is shown two rows of objects that are lined up with each other. For example, we see on the screen there with 7 red tiles lined up to match a row of 7 yellow tiles. The child is asked if one row has more objects or if the rows have the same number of objects. Typically, a child correctly says that they have the same number. However, when the researcher asks the child to watch as she moves the objects of one row to spread them further apart from each other, the child is asked again if one row has more objects or if the rows have the same number of objects. Younger children who do not yet have a concept of conservation of number say that the two rows no longer have the same number of objects, and say that the row that has been spread out farther has more objects in it. When children acquire the concept of conservation of number, then they readily say that the two rows have the same number of objects, no matter how the researcher spreads out the tiles in the rows. As for the one-to-one correspondence, that is a process of matching items from two sets so that each item from the first set is matched with exactly one item in the second. For example, when a child is passing out apples for a snack, one set is the children in the room, the other set is the apples, and each child gets an apple. Another example is the shoes in a closet. Each left shoe has a right shoe that corresponds to it. Counting is another example, in which one set contains the objects and the other set contains the numbers. A child must have this concept of one-to-one correspondence in order to be able to count. Of course, the child doesn't need to know the name one-to-one correspondence, they just need to know how to do it. However, teachers should know the name of the skill so they can have a better insight into the child's thinking and can plan better activities to support the child's learning. In addition, knowing the name of the skill allows teachers to better communicate with parents and other teachers about the developmental levels of their students. Before actually doing counting, children can gain experience with the idea of one-to-one correspondence through a variety of activities. For example, a child can have a job of getting out one book for each child in the group, or a child can set the table for lunch by putting out one plate for each person, one cup besides each plate, and one spoon besides each plate.